If you're a medical professional looking for more insights on the job interview process and job offer negotiation, stay tuned because that's our topic this week on Wealth Prescription Weekly.
Today we're going to be talking about how to master your job negotiation. This can be for a new job at a new employer or a new position at your current employer. First thing I would look at is a bit of research and preparation to understand your market value. So what does that mean? The value of your skill set based on where you're located. For example, a radiologist in Illinois with the same skill set may not have the same salary opportunities as a radiologist in New York City. So do some research on the average salary range based on the role and the experience at a specific location. Next, what is your compelling case for why you're qualified for this position? Make a list of your accomplishments and qualifications. Are there any unique skills that you bring to the table that maybe others do not have? What differentiates you from others applying for the position? An example could be that you can do more than they're asking for the position. So this can make you better qualified because your skill set makes you more flexible. Remember, they're trying to hire the best person for the job. The best person for the job, meaning the best qualifications. So maybe you're better qualified than the last person in the job. Many years ago, while I was trying to land a new position, I was given the advice to develop a summary page based on my skill set. So while it's true as professionals we're instructed to create this fantastic resume, at the same time, employers get a ton of resumes to review, and there's a lot of information on there to go through. In my case, it was always 2 pages and the font was getting smaller and smaller because I thought everything that I had done was important. And it was important to me. The question is, what was important to the person that was doing the hiring? So what is the summary page? Well, it's a 1-page version and it's based on your skill sets. So what I was told to do was look at all the stuff that I'd done, and I should see a theme in there, kind of what my accomplishments had been, and you probably will too. So I picked out 4 or 5 skill sets, things that I was very capable of doing. Then I went through my resume and I made 4 to 5 bullets under each of those skill sets to identify, here's how I accomplished that. So the skill set is, you know how to do this. Mine was like spearheading major projects or something like that. And then I went through and gave 4 or 5 bullets describing how I did that throughout my resume. So if you think about this, what we're trying to do is we're trying to simplify the process for the interviewer, okay? So I put that together, I revised it, several times, and this made it easier for the interviewing. And so later on when I was interviewing for my last corporate job, they made me make 3 trips, 3 different cities, 11 interviews, and I gave them my resume, but I also gave them the summary page. And in all of the cases except 1, so 10 interviews out of 11, they were using the summary sheet to interview me. And you go, well, why is that? Because my resume is super important. Well, your resume is important and it's kind of your history, and they're connecting the dots from this place to that place and this timeline to that timeline. But the question is, what can you really do, right? So all of that stuff's great. All of our history of education, all of that stuff is super, and they need that information. But if you're actually doing the interview, they want to talk to you about what you're capable of. And that's why the summary sheet came in really, really helpful. So I still have it to this day. I go back and I look at it and I go, man, it's good. So remember that it's okay to give them the resume and the summary page. And that's what I've done in the past. Okay, so now you've got the interview. That's a win. That's a win. Don't take it for granted. No matter who's doing the interview, even a friend or a colleague, you need to present your compelling case. So take it from me. There is nothing worse than being the interviewer and your colleague or your preferred candidate doesn't do well during the interview, right? You're probably not only interviewing with one person. So simplify their job by giving a strong interview. Highlight your achievements, patient outcomes, talk about your workplace contributions, talk about why you believe that you're not only qualified, but the reasons why you believe you are the best candidate. So leverage any testimonials that you might have from colleagues or patients. Based on your compelling case, would you hire you? Why? I'm going to say that again. Based on the compelling case that you put together, would you hire you? And if so, why? If not, why not? And work on it. Okay? So, how do you communicate it? You need to be confident. You created a compelling case that should help give you confidence versus just winging it. When we talk about crafting a clear and concise pitch, you're trying to create a couple of statements that makes it really hard for them to say no. Talk about your commitment to patient care, your dedication to your organization's success. Now practice it. Your compelling case with your pitch. Start by practicing on your own. Once you're comfortable, practice with a friend, colleague, or mentor to refine your communication skills and boost your confidence. I know this isn't easy. Your job is you're focused on serving, doing your job, not selling yourself, okay? Practicing like this is going to make it easier for them to see your value. And the one comment I would make here is when you're ready to do your pitch, when you're thinking you're going to pitch it and you haven't practiced and you deliver that to somebody that you know, it might not go very well, right? So the best thing for you to do is practice on your own, once, twice, 3 times, even more, whatever it takes for you to get comfortable in those statements before you practice with somebody that you know. Okay, so we want to maintain strong eye contact. We want to use a firm yet respectful tone. And really importantly, be an active listener. They need to see that you're listening to what they're saying. Let them talk. If they raise any concerns, address them with professionalism and poise. Okay, so one thing that I would suggest is think of any concerns they may have before the interview. Whatever you can think of, write them down with your responses and practice them. So there's no way to know exactly what they may ask, but the more prepared you are, just like an exam, you know what exams are, the easier it is to deal with the questions that you didn't plan for. Remember your days of taking exams and you went and you studied and studied and studied, you sit down, all of a sudden everything looks like a foreign language, but then you start going through and you see the things that you know and you understand, you have clear answers, and then you go back on the other ones. This is kind of like that. So think of anything that you think that they might ask, come up with your answer for that, practice those, and then what we're doing is going through, when they're asking the questions, there may be something that you don't know or you need to think about, but at least it's not like it's all new, okay? So when it comes to the offer, remember that compensation isn't just about money. Boy, have we learned this in recent years. What are the days and hours that you want to work? Will you be on call 24/7 at times? Is that all right? Do you have special requirements based on your family? In other words, what are your non-negotiables? What are your non-negotiables? Think about that. I used to have to travel, including internationally, probably 60% of the time. At the time, that was fine, but would I do that now? No. I'm at a different point in my life. I don't want to do that. So what do you want for benefits? Mentorship, continuing education that the employer covers, advancement opportunities. I've hired a lot of people in my life, and when there was good conversation around this, it worked much better because we started out on the same page. Write out the list of what you want, what is negotiable, what's not, and I want you to take a position that you're happy with and that works for you in your life. So there's not much worse than being miserable in a job. So decide what you want and think about that now. So understanding the complete offer package may sound obvious, but sometimes when things are exciting and look good on the surface, we may miss something important. So be enthusiastic, but make sure you have a comprehensive understanding of the entire compensation package before making your final decision. So if you have questions, don't be afraid to ask them. They want an employee that is happy and with an offer and will do a great job starting day one. Avoid later surprises, read the fine print. It's easier to negotiate up front versus after the fact. So I have a medical professional client that accepted a position based on an offer and what they were told during the hiring process. A year into the job, the things that they were told and promised in the hiring process didn't happen. Okay, I've had the same thing happen to me. The key is to get everything in writing in the offer package. And when things are not happening as promised, bring it up. Don't let it simmer. Time usually doesn't help, especially if it's something that's really annoying you and affecting, you mentally or causing stress because what they said was going to happen didn't happen. And what we want to do is just make sure that there's not an understanding, but do not let it simmer because that's just going to affect you, right? It's not really affecting them that much. Okay, so now you reviewed the offer package and asked your questions. Now take time to review all the aspects of the job offer. Consider the organization's culture, right? Who are your potential colleagues? How is the alignment between your values and their mission? Is it what you thought it was? If it's different, how is it different? Is that acceptable? Most importantly, is it what you want? I'm going to say that again. Most importantly, is it what you want? You're a highly skilled, trained professional. You have to decide if from all angles, if this is the right move. This could be a list of pros and cons. I know that writing things out for me helps a lot as I make decisions or making a list. This can just make it easier to evaluate. So trust your instincts. All right. So are you ready to take control of your financial future? Learn more to optimize your money by watching our masterclass, How to Avoid the 9 Money Mistakes That Medical Professionals Make. I gave this presentation at a medical conference in San Diego, and I had a lot of positive feedback. But the biggest question was, why hasn't anyone told us this before? So good question. The information in that masterclass is not out there in the mainstream. So I've been at this for a while, and I put this together especially for you so that you could understand things that are working in towards your favor, things that you don't know about, especially the things that you don't know about, and things that are not working in your favor. So the time to know those is now, and I want to get it in front of as many people as I can. So go to medmoneymistakes.com. That's medmoneymistakes.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.